I am so aware not everybody has the same chance that my husband and I did of rebuilding, because you both have to want to. And not everybody has that choice if one partner wants to and the other one doesn't work. So our marriage is not perfect, but we are very proud of it.
"83% of Americans identify as not very happy, which can hold you back and negatively affect your relationships and your business." On this podcast, we discuss the proven steps to happiness so you can restore balance and rekindle your joy.
Welcome to another episode of How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs. Hope your day is happy. Today we have an awesome guest. Tiffany, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Good. It's a great morning, great day. Happy to be with you.
Today is a good day for a good day all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So as we always do, we're going to jump right in. You have had, 20 years of experience building marketing agency and juggling life with a husband who travels quite frequently with 4 children. Can you tell us, how have you managed to balance these demanding roles?
Yeah. So, I appreciate you having me on and sharing kind of my message with your listeners. I was born, I say, with this heart of where when I laid in bed at night, and I still do, I think of all the things that I could do and all the ideas I have for the world and all the things I want to experience and the people I want to meet, the places I want to go. And you get to this like midlife stretch, I'll be 44 this year. And, in my 20s, I like had this picture of what it was going to be like to be a grown up, have a family, have a house, have a career, have kids. And you picture it being this like vibrant experience filled with all this like life and love. And yeah, there's going to be things that are hard. And yes, there's work and all this. But when I got to this season of life and I realized it really wasn't filled with those things, I felt like I was reactive. I felt like things were more chaotic than I wanted them to be. I felt like I was disconnected from my husband and my own life in some ways. And so I felt like I had a choice to make, that I could either give up on my dreams or I could decide to level up my toolbox. And I just couldn't say no to my dreams. And so I chose the hard of figuring out, how do I level up my toolbox? How do I get clear on my expectations? And how do I define for myself what balance means in different stages of life? Because Brad, like life that looks different in different seasons of life.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people can relate to what you just said. So, another way to say it is, you look in the mirror and you're like, God, I just thought things would be different by now, right? So when you mentioned when we talked offline a couple weeks ago that, I don't know, was it about 5 years ago that almost everything fell apart? Can you walk us through what happened, and how did that serve as like a catalyst for change in your personal and your professional life?
Yeah, it was 2018. And, yeah, my husband and I both have always had kind of big jobs. I have been an entrepreneur since I was in my early 20s. And so there was a lot of this like outside attention that I got. I was a woman, I was growing this agency. I had a finance background, which is kind of peculiar and interesting. We were growing really fast. And so, like, by outward appearances, things were going really well. But in 2018, yeah, literally everything I had been working my adult life for started to just like collapse. It was like the Jenga game where just one level starts crashing in on the next and they just start falling faster. The blocks do. So in that year, we lost our largest client at the agency. It was about 20% of our revenue. And so it was the first time I'd really had to lead through something that was really hard and challenging. And that kind of revenue stopping, if you've run a fast growing company, that starts to expose a lot of things when revenue starts to stop. And so I started to expose we did not have the operational infrastructure that we needed. Going fast and hard was no longer going to be the answer in the business. And I like sincerely had days and moments where I was like, I just might lose this thing that I've spent most of my career on, which would be both embarrassing and financially annoying. That same year, my husband and I's marriage got to a place where it was at a place where we knew we had to make really different decisions. It was either figure out a path forward together that was very different than the one that we were on. Like, we had to accept we've become different people. The thing that we need from this thing called marriage is evolved, and we've got to figure out if this version of us can love each other and move forward, or if we're gonna move forward separately, which is a really scary intersection to be at. Um, and I was struggling with my own, I have language for it now, but my identity was so wrapped up in my roles and because I was failing in my roles, failing, learning, getting my knees skinned desperately, um, that I was struggling with a sense of my own worth, my own sort of sense of true north. Like, does working hard and caring a lot even matter? Which is kind of my like mode of operating for a long time, is just work hard and care a lot. Um, I didn't know how to be strategic with our resources. I didn't know how to be strategic in some ways with our time. We didn't know how to make priorities inside of our family, inside of our home, and work hard to kind of clear the space for that so that everybody else's expectations weren't taking up 100% of our capacity. So that was kind of what the crash looked like for us in 2018.
So, how do you identify today? If before your identity was wrapped up in your business, what is it today?
Yeah, I've worked hard for vocabulary around this. So I know that my life's purpose is that I am desperately for others. And the things that I think God has placed in me, the opportunities that my career and just different things have brought to me, is I know that my gift is synthesis and communication. I can make a lot of clarity out of a chaotic kind of craziness, and I can communicate in a way that people can hear and receive. And so my own gift to the world is I have this sort of like bold, audacious, high risk posture towards life. And so I love to put myself in new situations and go learn and become a sponge and kind of like be the machete that clears the path for other people to kind of come behind me. So my pursuit of learning is, yes, because I love it, but it's really because I feel like it makes me so much more useful to the leaders that I'm helping to grow inside their businesses, the companies that I start that creates opportunities for other leaders to come in and kind of grow and scale them, the boards that I'm able to serve on where I know my experience is helping stabilize, accelerate growth, bring the right relationships. So like that's literally the calling of my life, is I am for others. And so I can start seeing the places where I win and where I fail as part of journal pages in my own experience and like worth to the world, and not such this sort of judgment proxy on each thing of like, if I'm on stage I'm valuable, if I'm in the crowd I'm not, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, when you're saying that, I really resonated with that. The fact of learning, Tiffany. Like I just learn. I mean, I've got, you can see the books behind me, and I found something that I love, and that's helping people literally transform their lives by getting rid of these negative beliefs that most people form from childhood that are stuck in their subconscious brain. And man, I found something I love, and I can't get enough of it. It's so amazing. But when I really think about why, I think you just hit it. It's because the more I learn, the more change I can help people walk through. Because I want to give the gift that I got 3 years ago, where my life forever changed. So that's awesome. When we talked a couple of weeks ago, you had said about, I think, giving, 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 and I thought to myself, I wonder if that's like if she's a people pleaser. So I asked you to take the self love quiz, and you got what 7% of people score, and you got extreme self love. My question to you is, and I know this is a hard question, but do you think that you had extreme self love leading up to that 2018 point in your life where almost everything collapsed?
I do. I think it's on Strengths Finders. Self assurance is one of my top five. So this sense of like knowing that, and this is going to sound wildly egotistical, but I promise I think we can make it come across in a way that's not quite the way. I think that the sense of knowing that I am special and significant and have something to put into the world that is meaningful, I think is something it's like, as a little girl, I felt that way. I have a daughter who's the same. She has the same sort of just innate sense that Yeah, I think I am special and I have something to give the world. So the way that I think that that took on a toxic maybe season in my life is that the adrenaline rush that came with achievement, I think became a lot about me. And now today, my pursuit of achievement is more about what I then have to share. And I think it's nuanced, but it created a very different framing. And I think weaponized my self assurance in a way that was more friendly fire versus this missile that was sort of always aimed at my own fragile ego. Did that
Yeah, yeah,
make
that makes
sense?
sense.
I
I'm gonna
haven't said those words out loud before, but does that make sense what I'm
Ab
saying?
absolutely, and if anyone wants to take the self-love quiz, just go do yourself a favor and your family and your kids, and just go to unlocklimitlessyou.com right now or when the show's over, and it only takes, 3 less than 3 minutes. It's only 12 questions. Go take that, see where you score, because it could be the beginning of a journey that forever changes your life and your health and your relationships. So for the person who's listening, Tiffany said she was special and she had something to give the world. You are special and you have something to give the world. We all are. Like, I believe every single person that was created, it was a miracle, right? The sperm matching up with the egg and the odds of it happening. We are all miracles and we were put here for a massive mission. And if you haven't found yours out so far, that's okay. It took me 47 years to find mine. And when you do some of the work that we both teach, it becomes way easier to find your purpose in life when you're not worried about impressing people or making a lot of money like I was for the sake of finding my happiness or finding my worthiness. So great stuff. So let's go to the back to the 2018. What's your marriage like today? Is it has it changed in 2018?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful. I am so aware that not everybody has the same chance that my husband and I did of rebuilding because you both have to want to. And not everybody has that choice. If one partner wants to and the other one doesn't, it like doesn't work. So, yeah, our marriage is not perfect, but we are very proud of it. We're very proud of us. We're very proud of the way that we have, I think, found a rhythm of being able to support two very ambitious firstborns who our kryptonite is our individual independence and learning how to lean on one another, to need one another, to have good tools for when he's away. How do we stay connected when he comes back into our household? How does he quickly feel part of the family instead of this like, accessory to us, which if you have a spouse that travels a lot and one of you is home more often, I also need to help facilitate that where I'm not saying you don't know how to do it or not creating special moments for him to have his own connection with our girls because that's a really important part of their life and development and that's a really important part of his family experience. So we every year do a marriage checkup. It's we do it live on my podcast, Scared Confident, and we don't talk to each other about the answers beforehand. And uh, this year I gave us a 9 and he gave us a 6. So you can go talk about the go listen to the disconnect. But his love language is quality time, and we were coming out of a season where he had been on the road a ton and my expectation was that we weren't going to be together a lot. And so that's what happened. And I was okay with that. And I had done what I needed to stay connected. But his experience was not that it was my fault, was just that he felt more disconnected from me because he had been on the road. I mean, just a ton that previous quarter. And so having the space for it to be able to be different, understanding exactly why it is that I'm a 9 and he's a 6, that doesn't make me right and him wrong or vice versa, and just having vocabulary for what we say is the business of our relationship so that we're tending to it in the same way that you have a scorecard for your organization, you've got a scorecard for your podcast performance, you've got a scorecard for a lot of different aspects of your life, your weight, your health. We need to make sure that we're doing the same thing with our core relationships. So it sounds cheesy and administrative, but it's so helpful. So
I love it. Is that something you give out to people? Is that
yeah.
some
Yeah.
Where can people get that?
Yeah, if you go to my website, tiffanysauder.com, you'll find the marriage checkup. It's a worksheet. We usually spend about an hour going through it, but it's fun to have each of my encouragement is have each of you fill it out separately and then come together and talk through your answers. Because then you kind of get this unadulterated, like if I would have said I was a 9 first, he probably would have like hedged closer to a 9 than being honest about his 6. So it
I
creates
love
great
it.
dialogue.
I tell you what, I'm gonna go download that and do it with my life partner in the next couple days. So
Yeah,
it
I'll
sounds
send you
like
the link. You can put in show notes too.
okay, awesome. So it sounds like a lot has changed over these last about 6 years, not just in your marriage, but across your life. So what did you do to change things? And then what have you learned from those 6 years, and how are you using that now to help other people?
Yeah, so I started, I don't know if the word is a movement or what, but called just Life of And. How do I help people have the tools and resources to pursue a life of and? My husband and I are two-career household. We have 4 kids. I have 3 businesses that I'm the majority owner in. And so I have a lot of responsibility, different kinds of responsibility across those 3. And I have his huge career that I want to support. It's an awesome opportunity for him and our family. And so I started to look inside of my business and say, we've done a lot of things inside of my organization as I grew to scale it. Like and simple things have to be able to be easy, like sending out an invoice. If you have 8 clients or 8 invoices a year, it can be kind of a cumbersome process and you're not doing it that often. But if it's like 8,000 a month, you have to be able to make that motion really efficient. And so as the quantity scaled, you would put in new processes and get software and sort of figure out how do you level that up. And I started to observe like, holy crap, my husband and I have changed almost every aspect of our lives with adding kids, living in a bigger house, going on boards, having jobs that required travel. Our companies were growing. We had kid and travel sports, volunteering at church. It takes more time to take care of yourself in your 40s. I have more appointments than I had in my 20s. And I just realized like everything has gotten more complex and we have not re-engineered the way that we operate at all inside of our house. So my Life of And Academy is about helping, I say like the chief operating officer of your household scale the most common operating like processes inside your house so that you are spending the smallest amount of time on the most ordinary things that happen. Because if you look in so many American households, the things that are dominating the time are the most ordinary: laundry, logistics, food, cleaning, power washing the back porch, mowing the lawn, like, driving kids to practice. Like, those are not bad things to take your time, but it literally becomes 90 some odd percent of our free time that is not our work capacity. And the rest of it you spend watching TV. It's stupid. That is not, I shouldn't say it's stupid. For me, that was stupid. That's not what I want to spend 20 years of my life doing when I have all this creative energy around things that I want to go do, stuff I want to go build, adventures I want to go on with our kids. And I don't mean trips to Europe for a month. I mean like hanging out in the backyard with a garden hose. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be insane. And so I started to say, what happens if I take all this solving experience that I have in my business and make all the ordinary stuff in our lives happen almost automatically, like turning on a light switch? We act surprised that we eat dinner every single night around between 6 and 8 p.m. Why don't you have a process to help make that happen so that it's a seamless, frictionless, like life-giving part of the day instead of this part that sucks? Like we act surprised. So that's the premise of the whole thing. The Life of And Academy is about helping. I say the COO. It's often the woman, but not always. Figure out how do you scale the capacity of the ordinary so that you have time for the extraordinary things in life. So
Wow, I'm learning a lot. I still do my laundry, and I was doing my laundry. I was putting it away, like the putting it in the washer and the dryer. I don't mind that at all. I guess that's really easy. But it's the putting on my hangers and folding the clothes that I don't hate. But I'm like, is this the best use of my time? And now that you've said that, I've been thinking about I can afford a laundry service. I'm going to look into that and just they'll come pick it up, and then a day later or two, it'll be back at my door in a box or something. So because then I get back, I don't know, a half an hour of my time where I could sit there and read a book or go for a walk with my daughter or take my dog on a walk.
well, in our family of 6, It's 6 to 8, sometimes 10 hours a week of laundry. If you day wash, because most households have only one washer and dryer. So that is a pinch point of capacity. Even if you want to get everything done in the same day, you can't. Like the washer takes so much time, the dryer takes so much time. So by that pinch point, it has to almost touch every single day. Which if you have, I think it's you and your daughter, like there's like two, it's small, but there's like loads, there's kitchen, there's towels, there's rugs, there's sheets, there's practice clothes, there's all this stuff. I mean, literally like never stops. So yeah, I don't do my own laundry. Nobody should.
So
I,
you just send it off, they pick it up, and a couple days later it comes back?
yes, my favorite service is called Poplin, Poplin. It's in most, not even major, but like most cities across the United States. Poplin, it's $1 a pound, and it's back to you in 24 hours. It works.
Poplin?
Poplin. Yeah, and I
Love
can
it. I'm gonna
send you a
sign up.
code for people listening. They can get a like $20 off, I think. But so for my whole family, all of our laundry in a week is like less than $30. So you just put it in a trash bag. You put it outside of whatever door you want it to be. They match you with a launderer person. I'm telling you, if people don't if they give up their 2 coffees a week, you can have laundry done for free.
Oh, I'm literally signing up today. No
Poplin,
lie.
Poplin. I'm telling
Awesome.
you, it's insane. So I have an episode actually on my podcast too on all the things I've learned about outsourcing laundry to this service, because you do have to, like anything, you kind of have to learn. Like when you use an Instacart shopper, you have to remember to tell them like how ripe you want your avocado. Or sometimes you get a cement block and sometimes you get something that's ready to eat right now. Like you kind of learn how to outsource. So I'm
What's
gonna
the name of your podcast again?
it's called Scared Confident.
Okay, awesome.
Scared
So
Confident.
tell us about the digital course that you have created. What are some of the core lessons and the feedback that you've received that could benefit the listeners?
Yeah, I think what I'm really good at doing is bringing like this idea of laundry, the things in the everyday, into the foreground, because we've just sort of like decided to deal with some of it. And so we don't even know that, we don't even think to change it. One of the exercises I have people go through in the course is to make 3 lists: the I hate list, the I want list, and the I'm pissed list. So the I hate is like literally, what are the things you hate? Like in your house that's going on. Is it that, like, for me, I hate it when the door stops are off of the, like, what's the word? The trim, the baseboard, when like one of them has fallen off. I hate it when there's a light bulb out. I hate it when like there's just like I just hate it. It bugs me. And so one of the things I put in place is we have quarterly handyman come to our house, and I give him my I hate list, like all the stuff in the house that I've seen, like this light's too low, I need a dimmer here, like the light bulbs are out in the basement, whatever. He just comes and takes care of it all once a quarter, and it's a system that sets up, and I have a little note on my phone, and that could just go away. So I'm pissed, I hate, and that's oftentimes like things you hate doing, like you standing in the laundry room being like, why am I hanging up my shirts? I hate doing this. And then the I want list. What are the things that you want to do? What we don't think about well, like you saying, that gives me another half hour of time. Decide before you have the half hour what you want to put it towards. Because otherwise it accidentally goes to Instagram scrolling on our phone. It accidentally goes to another show that we're, a episode, whatever, a thing that we're binge watching. It accidentally goes into the cracks of life, instead of saying, I'm going to put this time towards one of my priorities that I'm running towards. And that exchange is going to move me more into the extraordinary and out of the ordinary.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm already thinking I'll fill that time with, like I said, a walk or a good book. So cool. So give us some more advice on people who are struggling with two career families that are struggling to find balance. What would you say are some other things? You've given some great advice so far.
Yeah. I think another observation that I have is that all households are very busy. I think there is a particular speed to two career houses, and it requires more communication and a more, I think, precise connection when both of you are running 1,000 miles an hour. And you think about it, like when a company decides to go into high growth mode, you start to kind of tighten up your meetings, you tighten up your communication with the company, you tighten up your core values, you like tighten things up so that there's less margin as you're going to kind of go out and try to move faster. The same thing in our business, in our households. So one of the things that I like to bring some clarity to, or some maybe attention to, is the difference between an implied expectation and an explicit agreement. An implied expectation and an explicit agreement, because we can hold other adults who are, able to make their own choices fully accountable to things that they have never agreed to. And we can have all kinds of mounds of conflict over things that people never agreed to. So, an example in our household is I have a certain way that I like the household closed down at night, because every day comes with a very full glass of life and energy and cereal bowls and lunch boxes and all the stuff that comes with our household. And so I have a very specific way that I like the household to be shut down. When I would be gone for a board meeting or a client dinner or something like that, and I would come home and it looked like a bomb went off in the house, I would walk in and be instantly pissed and felt disrespected. Like, are you serious right now? Did you guys, like in my head, I'm like, did you guys literally think to yourself, we don't really need to wash the dishes. We can leave the ground beef like jus in the bottom of the pan. Mom will get it later. Like, is this what you guys are thinking? Like, oh my, just like, rah, rah, and just like going off in my head. Because I had this implied expectation that when I was gone, they cleaned up the kitchen and our living room the way that I like it. So that when I walked in the house, I got treated with a like blank space that was ready for the next day instead of this like bomb that went off. But I never communicated that to anybody. I never said those words out loud to anyone. They never said, yes, mom, I'll do it. No problem. I had implied it. I was holding them accountable for it. And I was allowing it to impact the way that I was interacting with them, because then I was like pissed. I'd stomp up to their rooms maybe and be like, it's a mess down there, don't you think? It's like, and nothing about that was the way I wanted to behave to them. It was certainly not like the way they wanted to be greeted by me if I was gone for the evening. And so where are their implied expectations? Another silly one is my husband, when he walks in the door, always puts his coat, winter jacket, suit jacket, whatever it is, on the back of this certain chair. I don't know what it is. It's like this magnetic thing that happens, and he has to put his coat there. Everybody else in the house is able to find a hanger. And it drives me nuts. And I told him, babe, will you hang your coat up? And he said, I don't mean to disrespect you with this, but no. Not because I'm trying to make you mad, but because when I walk in the house, I just need to be able to like not for a second, because this job is very hard. And I was like, that's fine. You get to say no. And I'm like, if I want it hung up, I can take 2 bloody seconds and like go hang it up. And that's no problem, because I'm the one who wants it picked up, not him. And so there's no tension around this coat on the back of the chair now, because I asked him to do it and he said, no, I don't want to. And I said, okay, does that make sense? Like,
Yes, and
he
then
gets
what you
to say no.
the example you gave before, the implied and the explicit, I mean, that is a model that can be used in relationships, period. Whether it's a business relationship or an intimate relationship, that so much I believe relationship problems are usually about the individual, not the relationship. But given that, so many relationships fail, again, intimate and business, because expectations aren't set. Your expectations were, I'm going to come home to a clean house, but you never set those expectations. So just like you said, how can I expect them to do something? We just lack so much communication with things that are really vital in our everyday life.
Well, I think we forget, they can say no. This can't feel like manipulation or a trap that like, I asked you for this. It's like, yeah, they have to, in a free will way, say yes or no. And if they say no, you have to own, it is me who likes how it looks when there's not stuff on the back of the thing. And I can put it away for myself. And it just doesn't have to be a point of contention. But I find when I teach this, sometimes people are like, I know I've told them I want that done and they don't do it. It's like, they didn't agree to it. You have to let them be able to say no.
I love that. I love the fact that he said no. So as we close, Tiffany, I want you to tell us who is the ideal client that would come to you and what exactly would you help them with?
Yes. So if you are in the middle of life where you are probably in some type of leadership role in your job, you've got other people and objectives and things that you're trying to manage and do, and you're trying to do that same thing in your household. There's people to manage, there's schedules to manage, there's leadership that's required, and you feel like, I just feel like an empty well. And I feel reactive and chaotic and like I'm not actually living in my life. My experience, this course and my teaching comes from my lived experience, which is that of a two-career household. So if you're in a two-career home, you've got, some number of kids running around, you're in some kind of midlife leadership role, senior executive or mid-level manager role, where you're leading in every area of your life and you just feel so tired, you don't know how to lead yourself in this area. That's really who the course was developed for. So would love to have them come check it out, listen to my podcast. I have a newsletter as well that's just all about this: tips, tools, resources, encouragement, not just a pat on the butt that it's going to be all right, but real practical ways to help you move forward.
Love it. And where can people reach you, Tiffany?
Yeah, TiffanySauder.com. TiffanySauder.com is kind of the central hub, or you can find me by my name on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I learned a ton and I'm going to take some of your practices and implement them immediately. So thank you. Thank you.
Outsource your laundry. Hashtag.
So that concludes another episode of How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs. As you hear me say every week, I'm on a mission to help 100 people radically change their life by getting rid of the limiting beliefs that they've had for so many years that are keeping them from living the life that they so deserve. I can't reach 1 million people alone, so I need your help. So please, if you like this show, please rate it, review it, share it, whatever you can do to get the word out. I'd greatly appreciate it. Until next time, love heals all.
Hit subscribe if you don't want to miss out on more life-changing content. And if you're struggling, you don't have to. Go to bradchandler.com/contact. There, you can join the Facebook community of like-minded entrepreneurs, and you'll see a button to schedule your freedom and happiness call. See you on the next episode.